Let's kick it off with the Catholic Church, the place that was rocking robes long before Corona. Now, they're known for sticking to old traditions, but in these Corona times, even priests are learning to innovate.
One priest in Michigan may have found the most unique way to connect with parishioners and social distance at the same time. Photos posted on social media by St. Ambrose Church shows the Reverend using a squirt gun to shoot holy water. As you can see, drivers pulled up to the church steps and are greeted by the Reverend, who's wearing a face mask, gloves, and holding a bright green gun. He told BuzzFeed News for an article over the weekend that he was a bit concerned about how the Vatican might react when the photos of him squirting holy water began circulating widely on the internet. But he says, quote, "I haven't heard anything yet."
Okay, hold up. Water gun blessings? That might finally be the thing that gets the church's numbers to go back up again. And it's a great way for other Catholic priests to explain why they have a bunch of kids' toys in their basements. The only way this could be more fun is if they did it with a water balloon, because that way you could watch it in slow motion and see the exact moment when your sins are absolved. I'm saved. You know, this also opens the Catholic Church to much cooler scenes in movies. You know, because normally the Catholic priest is always timid and all they can do is pray. But now when they meet a demon, they can be like, "Say hello to my little friend. Squirt, 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 squirt." Moving on. Summer is almost here. But this year, it will bring a whole new set of challenges. Black people have to figure out how to cook out while social distancing. White people have to go into the sun starting completely from scratch. And for kids, every camp is now computer camp. But there is good news for beachgoers who want to practice social distancing, and they can do it in style.
The growing use of face masks has inspired a new summer fashion trend, the trikini. Adrienne Fuqua is a fashion designer in the South Bay. She's pairing her custom bikinis with matching face masks. How about that? Adrienne's business is donating a part of their trikini proceeds to Team Rubicon. That is a group of military veterans that delivers meals to seniors.
Finally, the trikini. The outfit that's perfect for going to the beach and then robbing a bank. Seriously though, I love that even during a pandemic, humanity is adapting so that we can still find a way to post thirst traps. But I would recommend, just to be safe as possible, don't bother with the thong version. It's sexy, but I don't think it works. You know what though? I bet the more trikinis we see, the more people are gonna start getting turned on by chins. Because think about it, like it's always the hidden parts that people think are hot. Like if trikinis become a thing, at the end of the day, someone will be taking off their trikini and their partner will be laying in bed like, "Oh yeah, baby, show me that anterior mandible, oh my God." And finally, a story from Germany, the country that only has an outside voice. Germans have now found a way for people to enjoy live classical music that is safe for both the performer and the audience. One-on-one concerts with a single musician playing for a single audience member in parks, museums, and airport terminals. So if you love classical music and prolonged awkward eye contact, this is for you. Although this only works for classical music. Because I mean, I enjoy hip hop, but a solo rap concert feels like a guy is just yelling at you on the beat. "Yo, everybody, put your hands in the air. Now everybody scream!" You know, I think this Germany thing is a great idea. The only problem is, with classical music, you can never tell when it's over. Yeah. I mean, if you go with a crowd, you can always know because the old people start clapping because they know the songs. But when it's one-on-one, it's gonna be hella confusing. Bravo. Chuck E. Cheese, ground zero for the next pandemic. While most restaurants in the age of coronavirus have switched over to delivery, Chuck E. Cheese has been faced with the ultimate dilemma. How do you get people to order your crappy food when the only reason they ever came to your establishment was to entertain their kids and buy weed from your assistant manager? Well, it turns out all it takes is a little old-fashioned American ingenuity.
Chuck E. Cheese is accused of tricking some Grubhub users. Several customers say they placed orders at Pasquale's Pizza and Wings. They thought they were supporting a local business. Every address for Pasquale's routes back to a Chuck E. Cheese. Well, turns out Pasquale is the name of one of those animatronic band members you see in Chuck E. Cheese, the fake band. The parent company for Chuck E. Cheese says it wasn't trying to fool anyone. It said Pasquale's is meant to be a premium pizza that's a little more upscale than you find at a kid's birthday party.
Yes, Chuck E. Cheese has been pretending to be a different place online to try and sell their pizza. This is officially the weirdest episode of Catfish ever. By the way, can I also just say that I don't trust the person who uncovered this scheme? Because what adult knows the flavor of Chuck E. Cheese pizza so well? Wait a minute. This is Chuck E. Cheese. I eat this every day. All right, we're gonna investigate them. But after that, we're gonna investigate you too, you weirdo. Speaking of ingenuity, in South Korea, one soccer team got a little too creative about how to fill empty stadium seats.
A soccer team in South Korea is in hot water after being accused of using adult companion dolls to fill empty seats at their stadium. FC Seoul wanted to fill empty seats with masks-wearing mannequins at its home opener on Sunday, but some observers of the game on TV noticed that these fake fans looked a lot like sex dolls. The club has issued an apology on social media and claims they were assured by the manufacturer that they were simply meant to be realistic mannequins.
Yes, this soccer team thought they were getting mannequins to fill the stands, but instead they received sex dolls. Which means, somewhere out there, there's some guys who ordered sex dolls, but ended up with regular mannequins. Oh yeah. You, baby? Are you okay? You seem like you're somewhere else tonight. Talk to me. Now, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't get what the problem is here. Because yes, they might have used sex dolls in the stands, but they're not being used for sex. In fact, when you think about it, any doll can be a sex doll. Just ask 9-year-old me and He-Man. Our love was the power of Grayskull. And finally, one ray of sunshine coronavirus has brought us during these troubled times is that people are finding cleaner and healthier ways to get from point A to point B.
If you're thinking about buying a bike, you may be prepared for a long wait. The U.S. is reportedly facing a bicycle shortage. Bike sales are through the roof right now since the pandemic began. More people turning to bikes to either avoid public transportation or just try to stay in shape and get some fresh air. Sales of bikes jumped 121% in March.
Yes, it turns out more people are buying bicycles than ever before. And I get it. I mean, there's nothing better than biking on a nice day, cruising down the streets, breathing fresh air, having a bug fly into your mouth, coughing uncontrollably, almost throwing up. Oh man, bikes are the best. You know, bikes are like a Peloton that lets you ride away from your husband who's telling you to lose weight. But just remember, folks, with more people biking than ever, it is especially important to bike responsibly. And I'm looking at you, Cirque du Soleil. That is not socially distant. All across America, millions of people have been receiving stimulus checks from the government to help them through this tough time. Some people use the money for rent, some people use it for groceries, some people use it to rent groceries. I don't know how that works, but they say it saves money. But one woman decided to use her check to lift other people's spirits.
And a New York woman collaborated with the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra to put on a stimulus serenade for frontline hospital workers and COVID patients in New Orleans. Emily Bowman used her stimulus money to pay for the out-of-work musicians while offering a morale boost to healthcare workers. She's hoping to inspire others to conduct similar concerts.
Amazing. She used her stimulus check to hire out-of-work musicians and honor New Orleans healthcare workers in one fell swoop. That is such a beautiful gesture, although it was a little inappropriate when they threw beads at the nurses. Also, I hope the surgeons couldn't hear the music outside, because I don't know if you've been to New Orleans, but those bands are really good. Like, you can't resist dancing. All right, nurse, I'm gonna make the incision. If everybody can just, oh, ho, 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 hey, ho, ho, ho. I actually tried this in South Africa and it didn't really work. Yeah, I hired a Vuvuzela group to honor the healthcare workers, but all that happened was the patients left the hospital saying they'd take their chances with corona. And I also love that they honored their healthcare workers with live jazz. Because what's more New Orleans than live jazz? You know? This would be like if Philadelphians entertained their nurses with a fist fight outside a Wawa. It's so authentic. Of course, that free concert is only one of many stories we've heard about ordinary people trying to honor healthcare workers. In fact, one big story that went viral last month was from the UK. where a 100-year-old man raised $40 million doing a charity walk in his garden. And now, the UK is saying to him, good on you, chap.
A 100-year-old veteran in Great Britain will receive a knighthood. He'll be knighted for helping frontline workers during the coronavirus pandemic. Captain Tom Moore raised more than $40 million for Britain's National Health Service by just walking laps around his garden using a walker like you see right here, and that effort captivated the nation.
Oh, this is fantastic. This 100-year-old man is gonna become a knight, which is the highest British honor you can receive outside of Star Baker. And I'm not surprised this man is concerned with how the Queen is going to handle that sword. I mean, we all saw how she stabbed Meghan Markle in the back. You don't know what she's capable of. I just can't wait for him to meet all the other knights once this pandemic is over. I'm Sir Tom Moore, knighted for raising $40 million for the NHS. And I'm Sir Mix-a-Lot. I was knighted for telling the truth about how much I like big butts. But this goes to show you two things. One, when it comes to helping, your age doesn't matter. Anybody can help. And two, people in every country around the world are really desperate for sports right now. Because clearly people in England were like, look, it's no Olympics, but I've heard there's an old man who's walking around his house every day. It might be quite entertaining. Are you shitting me? I would pay £10 to £100 to watch that. That sounds bloody exciting. And finally, has this pandemic made you wish you could be living in another universe? Well, first of all, congratulations on being basic. And secondly, here you go.
It may sound like an episode of The Twilight Zone, but NASA scientists say they have detected a parallel universe that exists next to our own. Using a cosmic ray detection experiment, scientists in Antarctica say they have found evidence of a universe born in the very same Big Bang as ours, but with rules of physics that are completely the opposite. In our universe, higher energy particles can only be detected coming down from outer space, but using a giant balloon-like object, the scientists detected similar particles coming up out of the Earth, implying that the particles are actually traveling backward in time.
Okay, this is just insane. Scientists say that they've detected a universe, a parallel universe, that unlike ours moves backwards in time. And before you get all excited, yes, Trump is still president in this parallel universe. The only difference is that in this universe he can read, which makes him even more dangerous. But wouldn't it be funny if in the other universe everything is like a weird kind of backwards? So Trump hates Ivanka, but he wants to bang Eric? Yeah, we haven't forgot. Actually, the more I think about it, imagine how great it would be to live in a parallel universe where time is going backwards. I mean, who wouldn't love that? Coronavirus goes away. Trump goes away. President Obama comes back. It's amazing. Oh shit, wait, now slavery is back. I didn't think this through. I didn't think this through. It's weed, aka marijuana, jazz spinach, Nelson manned edibles. For many people, it has been an important way to get through the coronavirus lockdowns. But now, it turns out it might also be a cure for coronavirus itself.
A study in Canada has prompted the idea that marijuana can help cure COVID-19.
Researchers at the University of Lethbridge in Canada applied multiple strains of CBD to cells to see if it changed their ability to be infected by the COVID-19 virus. They found that high concentrations of CBD lowered the number of cells that the virus could attach itself to. The study is a preprint publication. That means it hasn't been peer-reviewed and the tests haven't been repeated yet.
Can you believe it? It turns out your high school stoner friend was right. Weed really can do it all. And man, if this really works, it kind of makes sense. I mean, the coronavirus is on the way to infecting your lungs, and then it hits all the weed, and all of a sudden the virus is like, wait, where was I going? What am I doing here? Wow. Have you ever noticed how like I'm a virus, but I'm like also like a thing? Now, before you order a Costco-sized nug, keep in mind that this study was released before being peer-reviewed. Yeah, which means it hasn't been confirmed, right? You see all the articles that are like, oh, CBD cures this thing, CBD, but it hasn't been confirmed. And you know, it's always weird to me when researchers put studies out themselves. I mean, you'd think somebody else would have to put out their studies, but they just do it themselves. It's almost like mixtape rappers, you know, like those guys in the streets. Hey, what's up, fam? You like science, man? You like science? Yo, you want science? Check this out, man. This got some dope reviews in the control group and in the variable group, man. You want to check this out, man? Yeah, check it out. Come on. Look, in my opinion, people shouldn't be able to put studies out before they've been verified. I mean, before I realized that this study wasn't peer-reviewed, I ran out and I bought a bunch of weed. What am I supposed to do with all of it now? And another big caveat is that this study was backed by a CBD company. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know why weed people are always working so hard to find additional benefits to weed. Isn't it enough that it just gets you high? I mean, there's no meth heads out there who are like, and try scrubbing some meth on your car, it makes it really shiny. Now you see why I like it, right? Now, maybe getting high isn't your vice. You know, maybe you're into something else, like gambling. Well, if that's the case, there's good news for you too, because Vegas is coming back, baby.
Well, the Las Vegas Strip could welcome visitors back as early as June 1st.
You'll see a lot of social distancing. Tables will be 6 feet apart. Menus will be paper menus or will be sanitized between each and every use. So there's almost without exaggeration, not one part of the business that is not going to change.
On top of that, every other slot machine is out of service with the chairs removed as well. The same goes for the poker table, too. Caesar employees are going to be using these electronic sprayers to disinfect the dice and the elevator buttons. As for masks, they are mandatory for the employees. They will be given out to guests even on the gaming floor, something that has never been seen before in Sin City casinos.
That's right. Vegas casinos are about to reopen. Although I'll be honest, I don't know why anyone needs a casino right now. I mean, I feel like every time you step into Whole Foods, you're placing the ultimate bet. All right, baby, let's put it all on the line for another tub of yogurt. Now, thankfully, casinos in Vegas say that they're going to be instituting some new safety measures, like handing out masks. And wearing masks while gambling would be great, especially for me. Because whenever I play poker, I've got this thing that I do with my tongue that's a tell, and it's like a really tiny little thing. I'm all in. One thing's for sure though, this is definitely going to change some of the classic gambling traditions. Like blowing on the dice for good luck, huh? Or wiping your nose with your cards, or storing poker chips in your mouths. We can't do that anymore. And finally, let's check in with Mike Pence, Vice President of the United States and guy who covers his eyes when Simba and Nala kiss. Yesterday, Unfunny Steve Martin was in Florida to see how their reopening is going. And when he stopped for lunch at a local restaurant, he gave us the most Mike Pence moment imaginable.
Now, Vice President Mike Pence did something this week many of us are patiently waiting to do: order food inside a restaurant. He stopped at a burger joint with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday.
What do you recommend? So, do you like spicy or not spicy? Not spicy.
Of course Mike Pence wants not spicy. This dude's favorite Spice Girl was Celine Dion. Seriously, it's crazy that Mike Pence can even eat at restaurants considering all his diet restrictions. I also can't have any meat that's touched other meat. It's a sin. Also, what you didn't see in that clip, because they cut it out, was the part when the employee asked Pence if he wants breasts or thighs, and then Mother came in and tackled the shit out of him.